louder than any denial. Beyoncé, the queen of precision, the artist who can transform a single rumor into a global tour, has chosen not to say a word about her husband's entanglement. That silence sparks its own storm. Is it the calm before her carefully measured response, or is it distance, a strategy to shield her own crown from fallout that could crack their flawless image? Behind the red carpets and glossy photographs, tension must simmer inside the Carter household. Blue Ivy is old enough now to scroll, to read, to face questions from friends no child should have to answer. When those questions point to her father's scandals, silence at home may be far harder to maintain than silence in public. This is the razor's edge Beyoncé walks. Speak too soon and her brand gets dragged into the mess. Stay too far back and she risks looking detached, complicit, or cold. Insiders say crisis teams are already guiding the Carters' every move. Beyoncé's quiet may not be weakness, it may be calculation. She understands timing better than anyone in the industry, and when she speaks, her words will carry a weight no sealed document can contain. The only question, will she remain silent, or will she eventually tilt the narrative with one perfectly timed statement? While Beyoncé holds back, 50 Cent only grows louder. His memes, his barbed commentary, his relentless trolling, they've all felt like a gunpoint to a figure from Philadelphia's music scene who recalls moments Jay-Z would prefer remain in the dark. Others hint it could be a former associate from the early Rockefeller era, someone who has stayed silent for decades but might finally speak, given protection and the lure of a Netflix spotlight. If even part of this is true, then 50 isn't just clowning online. He's holding a live weapon in the middle of a cultural war. The timing makes it even more explosive. Jay-Z's revived paternity fight is unfolding in lockstep with Diddy's sprawling legal downfall. Federal raids, sealed indictments, and decades of alleged misconduct have already dragged dozens of names into the light. What unsettles insiders most is the overlap. The late 90s and early 2000s, the same years investigators are now dissecting, also align with the timeline of Wanda's sworn claims. And that connection sparks a chilling question. Could two separate scandals, one centered on Diddy, the other on Jay-Z, begin to bleed together, not just in the court of public opinion, but inside actual courtrooms through legal discovery?
I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their...
Investigators have reportedly taken years of material from Diddy's homes, everything from guest lists to scribbled notes, and inside those archives may lie more than anyone bargained for. If names, dates, or correspondence tied to Wanda or her circle appear, it could fuse Jay-Z's private paternity fight with Diddy's already explosive file of accusations. The two men were nearly inseparable in that era, showing up at the same parties, recording in the same studios, moving with the same crew. What once looked like brotherhood now feels like dangerous proximity. Legal experts warn that in broad conspiracy or enterprise cases, unrelated incidents often get stitched together into one narrative. A sealed record from Diddy's side could drop Jay-Z's name, not as a ringleader, but simply because he was in the orbit. And that single mention could be enough to drag him deeper into discovery. Overnight, a personal dispute objects to global power. If that trust cracks, if the paternity scandal collides with Diddy's downfall and pulls the Carters deeper into the storm, then no wall of platinum records or billionaire brunches will be strong enough to protect him. And for Beyoncé, silence may soon shift from strategy to danger, because once the chaos breaks open, even the Queen cannot stand apart from her king's collapse. The walls are closing in, and the questions are multiplying. Is this paternity fight simply one man's search for identity? Or is it the first fracture in a dynasty built on secrecy? Will Beyoncé step out of the shadows to defend the family's image, or let silence become its own statement? And if 50 Cent truly holds the witness, the receipts, the living proof, then what happens when that truth finally detonates?